All right, so let's get this started. Let me send a message in chat saying I'm starting. All right, so this goes for everyone. I'm recording this for chat. Hopefully this works out. We keep recording things. Um, so if you end up joining any of these streams, you can ask for tickers, and I'll go through them, of course. But I'm gonna go through at least a few of the tickers I'm personally looking at, so I can at least get the watch list done, because that's what this is totally for. But if there is anything I can help with while I'm going along, I'll definitely do so. So let's get into this, but please make sure everybody go like the latest video that was posted the other day. Huge day trading workshop that a lot of people really needed to hear. A lot of people were requesting that for me for weeks. And it's almost close to 40 likes already, so I appreciate that. If you guys could go bump that up some more, I'd appreciate that a lot. But let's get into this. So the only thing you guys really need to be looking for each day is through that workshop video. So that's kind of why I'm mentioning that for another take on it. But big thing too is forming a watch list of stocks that you like. So you see, I have a huge watch list here. No, I do not memorize where all of these are. I do steadily go through them a lot, so I'm familiar with their charts when I go to them. But I'm not going to have all of these memorized or anything. But a big thing is to find a few on your watch list that you personally do really, really like. Find a couple that you're not really good at. I find that to be really useful. Like, I used to not be so good at Beyond, but a lot of people think I'm really, really good at Beyond now. It's just because I play it so much, I've gotten more familiar with it, so it's the same thing will happen to you as well. You'll find a couple of those tickers that you end up being more familiar with. But let's start with let's start with a couple stocks that I'm already kind of looking at, like Netflix. I'm gonna clear the drawing set. I'm just gonna go at it. Get my range. Get my emerging candles going. Another emerging candle. Making sure I got it all. Get that resistance. So I think I got most of everything I needed. Let's get that support. Clearly a level of support right there somewhere. Resistance, resistance, support, support fail, breakout, retest. So 529.85 is staying marked. And then also this resistance here just because it's a good recent resistance. So it's about everything we need. Let's check out the 10 minutes, make sure we have everything. Let's make sure we have pre-market high and low, which we don't have the low, so let's mark that. 531.85 is going to be a good break below. So I'm going to go ahead and start typing this now on my daily watch list channel. I'll type Netflix. Above, let's just say 535 for calls. Target 536.75. 538. And then 540 for a good psychological level. Next level on our chart's 541.25, so pretty much you're marking psychs till then. So all I really marked that isn't on this chart is 540. Okay, I marked just about everything else. We marked 538, 540, and then this 541.25. So those are our main targets. We have a target of 536.75, 538, 540, and 541.25. Stop loss, a big favorite of mine is just typing PMH, and what I mean by that is, let's say price breaks out here, right? It starts going, let's say it's trying to hold at 536.81. What's a good stop loss point if you've already entered this trade above this 535? That pre-market high is going to be a really good stop loss. It shouldn't, once it goes back below this, you're back to saying it's range trading in between here again, so you're back to square one. So you should cut the trade if it gets back into that range. So I'm going to say PMH as my stop loss. Below 531, we'll say 531.85. I'm not really a big 89 guy, don't I'm not really big into typing these flat non-flat numbers. If it says 0.81, I'm probably going to type 0.80. If it says 0.23, I'm probably just going to type 0.25. Just move on to the next like quarter or next better psychological flat number. But we're going to say below 531.85 for puts. Target We're going to say 529.85, 528. Doesn't matter if it's $1 away. Only $2 away. You know, if we don't think that's enough on Netflix, that doesn't matter. You can't ignore that there's a level there. I'm gonna go ahead and put a psychological level in there. 527. Actually, no, we don't have to. 525.50 is the next level after 528 for a target. See, I almost typed 527.50, and I probably would have been justified doing it since there is probably a level right there. Or I'm just gonna leave it how it is. It's good enough. So we got 3 targets below, 4 above. Another little side trick to use is, see how wide your range is. People go and check that expected move. So like, let's see, Netflix expected move for this week is 12. Okay, so one thing is your targets probably shouldn't exceed $12, $13 movements, and then 2, you should go see, how far are your targets. So like for my call side, this was like my farthest target for today. For the put side, this was my farthest target today. It's not because I couldn't go farther. I just didn't. I found just a few targets that I thought were good enough. I went out, $6, $7 to the top side and about $6, $7 to the bottom side. So I just trying to make sure my targets are about to the same length. So of course, don't go past the expected moves targets, and then 2, don't have targets that go up to 560 on this side and only go to 525 on this side. That just doesn't make sense. Why would you have so many targets for one side and not the other? Don't be biased. Set as many targets as you possibly can using your TA routine and your BB system. But vice versa though, what would be a good stop loss for if we played puts? PML would be really good, so I'm going to type that as my stop loss. And now we can move on. So that's one of them done. We can keep moving on too. I can keep doing a bunch of them. And Amazon is a big one. I remember last week we were calling out calls. So we played calls, we played puts. I had that kid call me a scam, which was hilarious. I told him he was right actually, but okay. Just like a free member joined and left off of some like random drama with his Amazon play. I don't know. But we ended up playing, after this rejection, we ended up playing calls from this drop on 2 of the days that we're recovering. We didn't like that weakness, and people were all trying to buy calls on these 2 days, and we were saying, nah, it's probably going to slow down. Ended up slowing down. We played puts those 2 days, and now you saw that pump over, which is actually the highest we have closed. So yes, this is not all-time high. This is not even a high candle. But the importance behind this candle is the fact this is the highest Amazon has ever closed. Okay, so Amazon has started here and dropped, but it has never closed this high. So very big bullish momentum going into Amazon this week. I saw ST just post about it in the live voice chat, so I wanted to go over here and hammer it for you guys, but show you guys, just that tiny little fact might be why Amazon is super bullish today. There's not really a whole lot of other levels I can mark. I have just about everything marked, and look, it's above everything. So let's go see that all-time high again. It was 35.54, so I'm just gonna mark that to notate it. It isn't gonna be the level I'm playing off of. Just something else to mark. So you can see reference point. Look how far we can still go. This thing still has another, $25 it can pump before it even hits that. So technically, yes, Amazon can have a pretty crazy bullish day today. Let's go ahead and mark it. So a pretty easy method for me would be picking a psych level, just because it's already kind of broken out, so it's not really easy for us to say. So I'm probably gonna say 35.30, and you could target 35.40, 35.40, 35.50, and then all-time high, of course. I can still type stop loss PMH. PML is all the way at 35.10. Let's just type Amazon. Above 35.30 for calls. Target 35.35, 35.40, 35.45, 35.50. And then we'll type 35.54, and then in parentheses type ATH for all-time high. So we remember in the future that is an all-time high resistance. Stop loss PMH. below, and not every scenario am I gonna get to just lazily pick PMH as my stop loss. I mean, that's a very good discipline rule though. Even if that's not where you perfectly cut, it is a very good concept to look at and say, oh, this is definitely where, we're gonna go back to being, flat one, where it goes back to being just, plain no breakout yet, back in range. So that's kind of why I do that. So not every scenario I can just pick that, but you'll see me choose a number sometimes. So below, because again, we're not gonna be biased. I'd probably wait on put till all the way up till 3507. So I'm just gonna say 3507. People will understand when they see the chart. Target. Well, we have to say below 3507. We have to say 3498. So we'll say 3500 flat first. So we got 3500, 3498, 3495. I'm gonna do that 3490 and then that 3487. Then we'll be done on this side. We'll do PML. All right, so we got those two. Let's just start looking through a couple daily time frame charts. A really cool method I like to use. Another big thing too is why I say form your watch list. Is pretty much any day I know that if I can't find a whole lot, I can go to BA, I can go to Facebook, I can go to a couple of these other stocks. And it's because no, I'm not saying they will for sure move every single day, but those are stocks I can rely on that I'm also comfortable with. So you always want to have a list like that kind of at your disposal. At every single day. Yeah, I know I can go look through my list, but every single day, let's say all these setups just look bad or I'm not in my zone or something, then of course I'm going to go reopen up charts I am familiar with or comfortable with, like Boeing, and I'm going to set levels on those. But a big thing though is also on the daily time frame is the candle near an emerging candle. A lot of the time that's where a big breakout can happen from or to. These are really good targets as well as breakout levels, so just mark a couple of them that are near current price. I'm not even marking the gap ranges, I'm just marking the emergings. Actually, I'll mark this support. Is there anything in between that? There is. See, now I have most of everything I need. Is there anything above price I can get? About right there. Good level of support here I can go off of in the future. Good level of resistance. Instantly found that just based off of the fact that you have these red candles and then it turns into green right here. So you got your sellers coming from this point, just literally a selling breakout, not even a support. I can't even call it a support because it's not one. But then it is used as support here before pushing up, almost a midpoint for that little move there, but also good recent resistance from this. I guess that would be Friday, not yesterday. So it's really good to see a very good first target after this little PMH breakout. So that's looking really good for Boeing. Another really good one too is you could type just the PML and make this your break below, or you could just go ahead and make this your break below and set this as your main target, which is cool because it also lines up with that previous day pre-market. So plenty of levels there. You can see Boeing's actually trying to break out now, so we're most likely going to have to say that 238.40 as a breakout. So most likely going to say above that, below this, just to give it a good wider range on Boeing. Plus, Boeing's a little cheaper. A lot more people can play Boeing. But we'll come back and check that one out. We're just kind of skimming through our list, and again, utilizing your daily time frame. I only use the daily really to even get to that point. Yes, I know in the future I can unmark BAC and go back to it. BLNK, actually, I need to relook at this one. I actually did look at this last week, so we need to personally look at this again. So let me get my levels set. Actually, let's clear the chart just so I don't have all the other stuff on the left. Or on the right. I'm really good at direction. Emerging candle, emerging candle. Alright, so I got all those marked. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. I think I got it all. Mark that day's high. Actually, I did mark the wrong level. Remove that one. And again, that's just analyzing the 30-day, 30-minute a lot. Kind of looking to see, do you see a lot of support bounces? Do you see resistance turn support anywhere? And every single time I'm looking at these, I'm making sure of that resistance, support, support turn resistance, resistance turn support, again, support, breakout, resistance. So that's like a 40% entry, 80% entry, breakout, support again, breaks out from ignite. So I know I really like that 39.79 really big. So that's a really, really good level I just found. Really good levels are going to be about right here, but I don't want to just put it anywhere. And I like it there because there's a big support turn resistance here. But it's utilized 100 more times, just like the 39.79 was. So that's most likely going to stay as well. All right, so we're good with that. Let's mark this low here so we have a good break below. And now we know BLNK's chart is actually looking really good for a potential recovery over its PMHs towards that 3860s. Also, a very good drop below 3724s. And again, you wouldn't know half that information if you were only on this time frame. If you were only on this time frame, you wouldn't see half of that, more than half of that. So very big to mark emerging candles as well, so you can see big new, open range breakouts, of course, but also just to see is a candle or current price near a very crucial area. Tyler just asked CSIQ when you get time. I'm being a little preemptive, but I'm looking for the range breakout retest to play calls back to the upside at 41, which lines up with a gap not filled on the daily. Yeah, let's go over it, man. And I know Tyler knows this, but I'm gonna say it again for everybody. If you're gonna look at solar, you need to be looking at TAN as well, so you can understand what its sector is doing. So this is the TAN ETF for solar. And you can see, price is definitely trying to slow down as it's approaching this little newly formed uptrend line. Here, I'll show you. And as you can see, it's lowering volume right now, but also this is looking very good candlestick wise towards that level. So this is looking good for potential support bounce soon. So I would say that does go towards your TA. And let's look at CSIQ. I just started recharting all of solar last week again with you guys on Friday. So mine are just freshly charted actually. I didn't grab a lot of my left lines, but I think that day we were just mainly trying to get a trade plan going. Just what we want to visualize. And right now we were looking to see if this 50% was going to hold. So right now is falling under the 4350 towards this 4150, which I do think it'll go down here to catch support first. But this you wouldn't be crazy thinking it can definitely jump from here. The big thing though to me is that this is a three black crows, as weak as it is, but it's below the midpoint. So I do believe you're gonna get more drop to the 4150s, for Canadian solar that is. But once it bounces from there, I do think it looks good above 4350s or on the support of 4150s. So I'm looking at those 2 points myself, Tyler. So no, I would say you're not feeling preemptive. It definitely is a big feeling that can come over you whenever you're waiting for something big like this. I know you've probably been waiting on Canadian solar for a bit, and it can kind of suck waiting for plays to pan out and give you that setup or to give you that entry and stuff like that. But just remind yourself what kind of timing you're waiting for. If you're entering on this daily time frame, you need to be paying attention to when that daily time frame candle closes. You need to be paying attention to the daily time frame, not the 5 minute or the 10 minute. So if you're gonna go through that and stuff, I would definitely be focused on your bigger time frame analysis like you set up. But let's see here from the left side, what emerging candles it lines up with. See, there's actually a ton of levels right here that line up with what's going on right now. So very, very big. And you can see it already kind of looks like if once it goes under its PML or basically the midpoint of that, it looks like it's ready to go back down. So it looks like combining my bigger time frame and smaller time frame analysis, I can point out to you that below 42.65 you can expect a good dollar drop, which is close to those that bigger level we said was a big support. So I'd say if it does end up dropping further today, watch your smaller time frame. above that midpoint on the bigger time frame, you can expect 44.25. So you have plenty of amazing levels to go off of here. So above 43.50, expect 44.25, 45s. This would be the top side of that bigger time frame, and this would be that bottom side of that bigger time frame range that you saw me look at. So I'd be really focused on those levels. I also hope that that made sense with what I grabbed. Only thing I really had up before I went through that was the outside of this pattern here, and then I grabbed the midpoint of this breakout candle. That's the only thing I grabbed, and that was just to see the basics of this range here, because this is going to be a very important range now thanks to this candle. Do I expect this gap to be filled in the future? Yes. If not, don't let that hover over you like a dark cloud. Um, not every gap has to be filled. You remember there's still about 8.6% or not almost 9% of gaps that still aren't filled. So, yes, this is very high probability to fill, but if it doesn't happen, don't think of it as the worst thing that could happen to you. But let's get back into finishing the list. I have about 9 minutes. Let's go look through a couple more. Beyond, remember we can go back and check BA as well. Beyond's not looking bad still. I added it to the list a lot last week, so I'm gonna hover off of it for like today and maybe tomorrow. But you'll probably see me add it again if this hasn't done a whole lot since then. I'm expecting Beyond to kind of cascade back down to kind of the same thing as that analysis you just saw me cover on your chart with Canadian Solar. I'm kind of expecting a bigger retest of this midpoint again. If not, this is my bigger retest. This is most likely where price will launch from. So it's kind of what I'm watching this week on Beyond. Dash, we played calls a couple like 2 weeks ago or so, and it just kept running a little bit slower. So we played the better momentum, but as you can see, price did just keep climbing slowly. DDD has to come test this midpoint most likely of this breakout candle. That'll be really big for another play on that one. DE, I wouldn't be surprised if this just kept moving up. This is from my video the other day. Alright, so let's just add Boeing, and then we'll go ahead and cover everything. So my bad. I was reading a couple things. Alright, yeah, so I'm going to stick with the original plan here on Boeing. Let's make this level a little more accurate. $234.65. So we're gonna do below 236.55. Target 235.75. 234.70. So I'll just say 234.75. Just give it that dollar. And then 233.50. So those are our three main targets. We have above 238.40, which actually need to go mark a couple more targets. And just like the TA routine would give you, I'm doing the same thing here. Really all I'm grabbing is just recent price action for more targets. So right now I'm just grabbing this little hill here. So I know that 239.60 is a good level after 239. 240.40 is going to be big, and then this resistance here. 240.40 and about 241. And then we have our 241.50. And then our next bigger level is up there at 245. So if we were going to mark anything else above that, of course, you're going to mark your psych levels like you guys see me cover a bunch. Another big thing too is just opening this up wider and covering more of these emerging candles. You see me kind of cover just recent price action, it would actually be way more beneficial to just grab from here. So let's do that. Let's get my range. So I see current price is about right there. So I'll grab a good top one and a good bottom one. Grab that gap. Emerging candle, emerging candle. And then you see I should get, you know, similar levels besides the ones that you saw me have earlier. I zoom this back in and actually end up having a lot more levels than I didn't have before. But actually they end up lining up pretty well. 241.25 is still there. That 243 is there. That 245.20 is still there. So you can see the levels are still popping up, but it is definitely more beneficial to grab from that far left first. So, you know, measure twice, cut once. Don't make yourself work harder than you have to. So looks like we have, oh, I didn't mark the stop loss for that. PML. All right, so watch list is made. Another side thing that I like to do now is after I've already kind of completed my list is I go back through and I kind of just see some basics now. You know, I've seen me type out most of my day trade plans, but now you kind of go back through and choose some lazier ones. So, and what I mean by that is, you know, go to your daily. Here, I'll show you. Mark your daily up, and then go mark your pre-market system up. Fix that one. So just go quickly mark it up and then make a lazy trade plan. Like, and what I mean by that is, you guys ever go see my side watches under my list? You'll see me type out, you know, like Netflix above this, below this, target that. I don't even type stop losses on them like I do my main list, and that is just to get more watches on the list, but also not screwing people. I do like to type stop losses, but of course, you know, everyone's gonna need to catch on eventually. A big thing with what I'm doing right now is showing people how they can mark levels and make their own trade plans. So just instantly looking at this chart, you know, most people should be able to tell me from this chat, you know, what's a good break above, what's a good break below. You know, a really good break above is going to be this 197.70, and that's because that's a good PMH, or I'm sorry, extended hours high, but also a good previous resistance from the previous day. So just from previous day, I know that above the meat of the bone on this 30-minute is going to be looking really good above about 198. So above 198 is going to be looking a lot better with a good first dollar target up at 199, 238, 201.50, and so on and so on. So that all looks really good. And that's just kind of how I would run through going and adding like a, you know, that lazy trade plan that I was kind of saying. I don't mean lazy in like a bad way, lazy in a good way. Just another quick add-on you can do. So that's just kind of how you run through that real quick. So of course, if you guys have any others you want me to look at real quick, we can go through that. I'm gonna go ahead and post this watch list though. Kindred, the premium signal bot, he uses my daily list, so that's why you guys see me post those so early. But I'm gonna go ahead and send this over to him, and then we can keep looking at a couple more for the watch list. So I'm gonna post the main watch list, but we can keep going and looking through a bunch of other stuff.